Hi, my name is Megan Gidley and I'm the Director of Marketing with Connect. Welcome back to the Get Connected podcast. We're back in sunny Millersburg, Ohio at Windy Hill Farm. We're going to be chatting again today with Ted DeHass, the owner, and we're going to be talking about how to properly communicate with an animal. We'll also touch on the importance and significance of building a long-lasting relationship with your animal. Let's dive on in and hear what Ted has to say. Ted, thanks for sitting down with me today. I am so excited about today's topic. We are talking about how to communicate with an animal, which, as much as that relates to horses and horsemanship, that really is a broad subject. So, can you give me an overall, just basic view of when you look at somebody, how should they be behaving, talking to the animal, body language? How should they be communicating?
Well, you have to learn to read your horse or the animal, and there's an energy there. And I don't want to get all spiritual about this, but it's kind of a spiritual thing where you can feel that energy, positive or negative, and you can watch that animal's eyes, and you can tell how he's looking at you, what he's thinking. I've done it a long time, and I do it every day, and so I'll catch myself all the time down here with my apprentices saying, "What do you think that horse is thinking?" And they'll look at me like, "Well, I don't know." I'm like, "Look at him looking at you. He's saying, do I trust him or not? Is he as tough and mean as those other guys I used to know somewhere else? Well, he looks kind of nice and he smells pretty good, and maybe I'll give him a chance." I said, "That's what he's thinking." I can walk up to a horse and look in his eyes and tell kind of what he's thinking. And you can look at their pupils, how they're dilated and so on, if you want to get real technical about it. But we do horsemanship boot camps here quite a bit, and we have a very loyal following of folks that want to learn horsemanship and want to experience what we have here with the horses. So we get a lot of people come here, and they come from all over. They come from thousands and thousands of miles, and they'll spend a few days with us. And they all come here, and they're all enthusiastic. They've come a long way. They come in the barn and sit down, and I say to them, "All right, you think you came here to learn how to ride a horse? Well, I got bad news. No. The riding part's easy." And they look at me like, "What? I came here to get riding lessons." I'm like, "Well, I'm no riding instructor, and I don't want to be. But here's what I am going to do is try to help you find what I have found. And that is to learn how to try to communicate with an animal. Because good riding is the result of good communication. You can be the best rider in the world, but if you're not communicating properly, and he doesn't understand what it is you want to do, well, you're just out there quarreling with him. And I see a lot of people do that. They're just sitting up there like a passenger. So the first thing we got to do is we have to learn to communicate with an animal. He's 1,200 pounds. You weigh 175. Now, how can I get him to do that he doesn't want to do or is not sure about without beating on him? Or without getting frustrated? Or without thinking I got to go hire a trainer to beat on him for 6 months? How am I going to handle that? Well, therein lies the problem. And that's what we're going to talk about. All right, well, so I had a lady come one time, and she's like, "Oh, no, well, I've taken riding lessons my whole life, blah, 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 blah." Like, okay. See that tomcat over there sitting on the feed sack? Go catch him. Bring him back over here. That woman chased that cat around for 30 minutes trying to catch him. Until finally the cat came over and jumped up in my lap. I said, "Now sit down." I said, "How in the world can I teach you to ride a 1,200-pound horse to do something he doesn't want to do, and you can't catch a doggone tomcat that's sitting in my lap wanting to be scratched. Look, he loves me. It's my cat. He's my buddy. And he came over to me. He came to me. I didn't have to go after him. He came and he jumped up in my lap because he's my buddy. Because for the last year, probably, he's jumped in my lap and I've scratched him behind his ears and we're buddies. I said, you take after him like you're going to skin him. You got to learn how to catch a cat. Well, if I walk up to a horse like I'm going to, jump on his back and ride him around like a crazy person, well, he don't want to be caught. He don't want no part of that. That's violent.
He wants away from you.
Yeah, he don't want no part of that. But if I walk up to him and I rub him on his neck and I rub him between his eyes, on his forehead, and talk to him a little bit, and just walk away. Don't even put the halter on. Next thing you know, he's following me to the barn. I don't need a rope. Sometimes I'll buy horses. You couldn't catch them with a lasso. You get them down here in the corral, they don't want to be caught. I work with them 3 days, and I go down to the barn in the morning about daylight, and they're standing at the gate waiting on me. Well, then I know I'm doing my job. Well, yeah, what was my job? I didn't spend the last 3 days riding. I didn't spend the last 3 days being equestrian, riding in circles, trying to do lead changes. No, I went in there and I was just kind to him. I didn't bribe him by giving him treats. I didn't get the feed bucket to catch him. I was just kind to him. And made his human contact, his human experience pleasant. It's just that simple. Years ago I had a hunting dog, and that dog loved me. And I always had a reputation to have the best hunting dogs around, and everybody wants to buy my dogs. Always wants to buy my dogs. How much you want for that dog? How much you want for that dog? Well, all right, I'll take such and such for him. All right, I'll take it. And I can't keep them all, so I sold my dogs here and there. And I had one dog I sold 3 times. He'd come home. Every time I look up, here he comes. That guy'd take him out hunting and he'd take off and come home. So finally I just said, no, we're not going to do that. Just stay here. You can stay. I had a cat one time I gave to a dairy farmer 6 miles away. It took it a year, but it came home. And that cat had kittens exactly in the same place that it was born. Under the same board in the same barn. That cat came home to have her kittens in my barn.
Wow. 6
miles away. So, as we have this conversation, I observe these things. And I pay close attention to it. And I could tell you so many stories that you could not believe on how smart these horses and these animals are. I got a field of 100 horses. I got pastures all over with horses in them. I've got horses that lived together 10 years ago. Have been not together, hadn't seen each other for 10 years. I look out in the pasture and they're all out there together. I've got pastures that I have maybe 5 halflingers. And the rest are all quarter horses. And all halflingers are staying together. They stay in a little group of 5 of just halflingers. How do they know, right, that they're in the halflinger group? But the animals, you watch that little cartoon, Charlotte's Web, but it's just kind of the way it is. Those animals have got a little society we don't know about. And if we do know about it, it's only because they welcome us into it. So, when I say communicate with an animal, I'm not getting mystical about it or anything, but I think that most people are very dull to it. And most of their problems are a result of that, not being able to understand the animal's perspective on things.
Well, and you take the time to build a relationship with every animal that comes through here. You take the time to get to know their needs, and then you fulfill those needs.
Right. Well, my wife has a cattery, and people buy these cats, and the cats are the center of their lives, and it's a very special thing that we do. and we enjoy it very much. Well, sometimes we'll have a kitten, and I have no idea why, but we'll have 6 customers come, and they'll pick kittens all around this one, and this one kitten's my favorite one, and he's my buddy. Well, people will leave and say, all right, there, Buster, I guess they didn't want you today. I guess it's just me and you. Well, the next thing you know, that cat's my friend. He's been picked over 6 times. So I get my leash and I teach him how to lead like a dog. I teach a cat how to lead like a dog. And I teach him tricks, and I teach him to sit on my lap, and he sits on my shoulder, and we're all buddies. Well, guess what happens? Here comes a lady that desperately needs a companion like that, emotionally. That she's got an emotional need, this person does, to have a companion. Well, there's my little friendly cat that'll lead like a dog. And down the driveway she goes, and everybody lives happily ever after. But you see my point. If I had not taken the time to make him special, who knows what would have happened. So, I just want to encourage everybody to just pause and just look around and just become a little more in tune to your surroundings and nature a little bit. And maybe, Dr. Doolittle said, listen to the animals or speak to the animals. It's not like that, but it's similar. It's just, they made a cartoon out of all that, but there's some truth to it. The animals do have an opinion, and they smell things, see things, and hear things we can't. They have an intuition that they trust. They trust their instincts. If their instincts say don't do something, they don't do it. Humans, if our instincts say don't do something, we're dumb enough to do it. And that's usually when we get in trouble. So, pause everybody, trust your instincts, listen to your animals, watch your behavior, and try to develop a relationship with your animals that you be the trustworthy person that they deserve.
Build lasting relationships with them.
And you'll be amazed on how things will start working better for you. Not only with the animals, but with people too. I can tell you that over the years I've made a lot of mistakes, and I've done some things, said some things I shouldn't have, like anybody. But I've learned the hard way. And I can walk into a room of people and I can kind of tell you what they're thinking before they say anything, just because I've been around animals a lot. It's taught me a lot on how to handle people.
It's wonderful advice. Ted, thank you for sitting down with me and for providing all of this knowledge and information to our listeners.
Thank you.
I don't know, is this electric? Yeah, it is. Okay. Not gonna touch it. You ready? I'm ready. I'm so ready. Born ready. Ready to go. Let's go. Of building a long-lasting and Get Connected podcast. We're back in Sunny's Millersburg. I'm only halfway up this hill. Probably look like a crazy person. I like having this swivel now. Caitlin, if you're watching this, I miss you. Come back. Thanks for tuning in to another Get Connected podcast. Make sure you stay tuned to our Facebook page and YouTube channel for more podcasts with this farm. Thank you for watching and have a great week.